comfortably
We've just witnessed is completely devastating for the people of this community. I want to acknowledge both the Waitaki Council and of course the Mackenzie Council for the work that they did to stand up support immediately for the residents and the people of this district. Can I also acknowledge the Fens people, the Coast Guard, the Department of Conservation, the helicopters, as well as the volunteers right across this entire district who have supported the community at this time. What we just witnessed was truly devastating, and all of the feedback that we've had from Fens and seasoned operators here says that this is a significant event with large property damage and loss, and our thoughts are with those property owners and with the people of this community. It's with that in mind that as an initial contribution from central government, we will be operating through the Mayoral Relief Fund and giving $100,000 as an initial contribution to this particular event. We will work closely with the Mayor here and the Waitaki Council to make sure that we, on an ongoing basis, are able to assess their need and step in and support where we can. To progress with this conversation, of course, we've got here my colleague, the Honourable Eugenie Sage, for any questions around the Department of Conservation. Of course, we have the Mayor here from the Waitaki Council who for some comments very shortly, but also answer some of the questions. And we have Graham here from an operational side who can explain exactly what went on and what might happen into the future. So if I can hand to the Mayor.
Thank you, Minister, and I'm just very grateful that both ministers are here today to see for themselves the real situation that we're faced with. This is really a tragic situation and one that I'd hoped I'd never have to deal with, but unfortunately we have it. I want to express my gratitude to Fens and to the other agencies that have been involved, and special thanks to Mackenzie have done around the welfare support with our people that have gone to the district there, and our people who are taking up the welfare function. The outpouring of support from the nation has been really humbling, and something that I'm also thankful of the messages from other mayors, members of the public that we've had, and the real sympathy and empathy that people are showing is just a true testament to New Zealanders everywhere. So thank you to everyone who's supported us in that way. Thank you.
And I'd like to really acknowledge the devastating loss for residents and people who've got homes there. Just seeing cars that have had their tyres completely melted, that are shells, bunk bed frames and houses that are completely gone, and just people having to come to grips with that and the grief and the loss of houses, possessions and memories in that. And to repeat the thanks that Minister Hanare has given to Fens, to the 2 Department of Conservation crews that are up there today, for the volunteers and everyone who is doing their utmost to contain and control this fire. There's about 1,800 hectares of conservation land that's been affected. Fire needs to be managed. We need to get fire smart in future. With this fire now following the one in the Pukaki Valley, and just the loss of forest at Parsons Bush, tussocks and shrublands, and the very random way the fire has acted. Kia ora.
Open for questions.
Minister, can you describe the scene? What did you see?
The term that I've heard being used to describe it is a war zone. And it's clear to me that there is no rhyme or reason when it comes to fire. One house is affected, the neighbour isn't. Minister Sage has described it, shells of cars, trailers, people's livelihood. And I think I don't live here and I don't come from here, but as you drive through it, you can feel a sense of loss, and my thoughts are with those residents who will be going through at some point in time today.
Minister Sage, you said what did you mean by that? Federated farmers this morning think that wild and pine and unmanaged scrub on dockland may have been fuel for the fire. Is that something you accept?
This government has put more funding into wild and conifer control, 5 times what the previous government put in, $100 million over 4 years, which is going to control wild and conifers. On conservation lands, wildings have been substantially reduced. Federated Farmers, I think, was making a push for free grazing. Nature doesn't start fires except by occasional lightning strikes. It's managing human activities that's the key.
One of the points that has been mentioned by farmers I've spoken to is they've acknowledged the work that has been done to get rid of wilding pines. but they're saying they've been left on the ground to basically then become fodder for the fire. Should they have been removed, and when you're talking about being fire smart, what are you actually going to do about it?
I think with a changing climate, we have to look at land management and the bigger picture, and that's why we're doing things like wild and conifer control. There are a lot of conifers up there, but that's not the conversation for today. Today is with the residents and those who've lost their homes and their possessions and are dealing with that grief. But yeah.
What about stock losses? Do you know what that's looking like?
Don't know about that.
Perhaps Graham can answer the question about stock losses.
Hi. Yeah, there is a bit of stock loss. We're not sure on the extent of that though.
Can you describe the fire as it stands? How are your excellent men and women going? How's the fight against the fire going?
Yeah, the fight against the fire is going well. The fire's what we call contained. As you can see around it, we're on top of it. But never say never. These winds, as you can see, are pretty variable. We're having a few issues with air ops getting into the mountainous sort of country there. But we've got a good perimeter around it and we're quietly confident that we've got it contained. We never say never though. Yes, that's correct. And if we listen to the ministers, that's the conversation. There's no loss of life in this fire. There was the potential for that to happen, and it didn't. So there's some good planning gone in there from Fire and Emergency, from Waitaki District Council, from the residents. And yes, we've got substantial loss of property, but no one got hurt. Yeah, the conditions, fire's fire, and we generally get fires when the conditions are bad. So this is the normal sort of conditions for our fire. Windy, warm, so those conditions aren't unusual. So it's just one of those things, and just takes a bit to pull up when we have strong winds. That's it. So what we've got to remember is that there is some property loss, but there's also been some good work around saving properties. We focus on the loss of properties, rightly so, but there's been some good work around the saving of those properties, and that's continuing as we speak now. So there's still, spots floating around within the fire ground within the township itself, and the task for the guys and girls to make sure that those flare-ups don't compromise those properties that haven't been damaged. It's quite an ongoing job. Yeah, that's right. So the containment's around the perimeter. So what we're trying to say is that we're trying to hold it within the perimeter. We've achieved that. It didn't do much overnight. The containment line's held, running up slope a wee bit, but that's manageable. So we're just trying to put those containment lines around and hold those containment lines so there's no further loss to critical infrastructure and department land. No, not at this point, no.
Minister Hinare, I'm sorry, but can I just, the thing you said about it being a war zone, could you possibly repeat that in Te Reo? Would you mind doing that for our colleagues at TK? That'd be so great.
Okay.
So pretend I'm from TK.
Ko ngā mea kua kitea, kare kore he pare kura I kitea ki runga I te whenua, ko ngā kāinga I kāinga e te ahi, kua ngau kino nei I te whatu manua ki te tiro atu. Nō reira, kei ngā tāngata o tēnei wāhi o ku whakaaro I tēnei wā.
Kia ora, Minister. Thank you so much.
Ka pai.
Minister, you've talked about the $100,000 as sort of an initial relief package. What are the next steps in determining further assistance and what options are available?
Look, that work is always ongoing with the Mayor and the Council. As we know, the fire's just been contained, but we'll continually work with them as assessments are being done. We know that residents are yet to get back into their properties and to view it for themselves, and I have no doubt that we'll have ongoing discussions with them about the kind of support that central government can offer.
And where do you anticipate that $100,000 will be spent?
Oh, look, that's entirely up to the council and the mayor here who are working with the people on the ground. I think it's important that the local government and those people locally in the community have the opportunity to put that money to best use and not from central government direction. Kia ora, thank you.